So I made myself a battery tab spot welder. I'm going to show you what I did here. It's real simple. It's just a battery, 12 volt battery, positive and negative wires coming down with a solenoid put in place. And in this case here I have the positive line broke, and then the wires here, one wire goes to negative, the other wire goes to positive, but there's a switch in between here which I'll show you. And then those two wires continue downward and go around the loop here to this piece. Now I'll post a link. I bought this piece here on eBay, and all you get is basically from my thumb down to the end. Now it don't exactly, it's not the same as this piece. This housing here, I redid this piece out of hardwood. When you buy it, I'll put the link in the description. When you buy it, it comes this piece plastic, and it don't really work well. Now I don't know why they designed this particular piece, but I kind of repurposed it and did it in my own, for my own reasons. But you get these two tips like that, and these two here are spring loaded. You can see spring loaded, but the plastic piece really got hot and ended up deforming itself. So I ended up making basically the same piece, but I used hardwood, and I made those slots for these pieces to fit and be spring loaded and remain spring loaded. Real simple design, and it works really well. And then when you buy it, the actual little switch is right here. So when you would push on the battery to do the welding, these would go down and it would click on the switch. Click, click, click. Well, I didn't like that all that great, because as that plastic piece deformed because it got so warm, well, that switch ended up caving inward and it never made contact. So it just got too hot, and they used the plastic, and they shouldn't have used the plastic, I suppose, or maybe a different type of plastic they should have used that wasn't affected by the heat. So anyways, I just redid mine out of a piece of hardwood. I trimmed it down and cut it, and so when I put my switch on the part where I'm going to hold it like this, you can hear the clicking. So when I push that, it's going to weld. As soon as I push this on the battery, or here I made a battery up here, and you can see I spot welded it all together. It works really well. So when I would put it down like so, and I would push to make sure it's got good contact, then I would push the button. And that's about how long it takes too. That quick. And it's welded, that tabs. So if anybody's in need of one of these, they're really cheap to put together. Now of course you got to buy your wire and your solenoid and all that, and depending on how you want your solenoid, I want mine to be, when I push it, I want it to make contact in the solenoid. So they sell these open contact or closed contact. So when I'm pushing my button here, it's closing the contact. So this particular one is open contact. If you want it to be the opposite way, when you push it, then it closes it or opens it, you have to use this particular solenoid in accordance. Either the closed contact or the open contact, depending on how you want to operate the switch. Me, I want to be able to push it. The current flows, I let it release the button, the current stops. That's how I want it. The way it was designed was basically the same way. As soon as the button would push, the current would flow, weld the tabs, you release the button, and then the current stops flowing. With a open contact already, that means these two here pieces will be live immediately, so you would have to keep the button pushed, and then push on your battery, your tabs, and then release and push again. I didn't want to go that way, so I wanted to just go, and it was over. So very cheap. I'll post the description link for this particular unit. Now it's not exactly this piece because, like I say, I had to redo this hand portion here out of a piece of hardwood, and I made mine a little bit bigger. Pretty much the same principle, same idea, just a little bit more bigger for my hand. I have big hands. The one it came with was really kind of much thinner. No, not much thinner, maybe a ½ inch. Maybe went about to the end of my thumb there, back. So I made it that little extra ½ inch width because I have a big hand, so it makes it more comfortable for myself. And just a 12-volt battery, and it's really that simple. Now out of this one battery, I did this whole pack, both sides. And the battery it's reading just a little over 12 volts, so it needs a charge. So it does use current from a battery. Well, let's face it, you're making these little welds here, and there's a lot of current going into that to basically penetrate through both those pieces of metal to make it a little spot weld. So there you have it, folks. A little homemade battery tabs welder. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you have not, and thank you very much for those that already have.